What's up, you guys? Welcome back. So today I'm going to be doing a somewhat like a battle of the palettes, because one is older and one is newer. So I'm going to be doing the 3502 palette. I know, sorry, I had water and yeah. So if you want to see what I create, just keep on watching. All right, guys, so now the 3502 palette was my all-time favorite fall palette. Like, I loved it, I used it all the time, and this is the one that I used to use. So it's a little beat up, it's pretty bad. My black matte shadow had broke, and these are all the colors. So now, I was not recently, but I bought it last year, around last year or the year before that. I don't remember. It was before I even started YouTube, and I kind of wanted to use this as like my first intro kind of video, like my very first video for YouTube. But then I decided to do the Ulta haul, or the Morphe one. I don't remember. I think it might have been the Morphe one. So I ended up just putting this off. Putting this off. So I again came across this palette when I was like cleaning things out and organizing things. And so I wanted to see what was the difference, if they changed the formula, if the formula is the same, because I had, my niece was over and I asked her to let me use her arm because she's a lot lighter than me, and I did it on mine too. And I compared both of them by swatches, and they both had different like pigment, like different like things on it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was just a different types of shades, but it was the same color from each palette, like the same name. So I'm going to create a look using the new palette on this eye and then using the old palette on this eye. So my eyes are already primed and ready to go. My eyebrows are done. So again, I don't know if you're new to my channel, but I tend to do my brows and set my eyes beforehand, so that way it doesn't take up so much time. So if you wanted to know, I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in Ebony. I don't know how to say it. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that, but yeah, it's this shade. Oh my goodness, my black matte on my old palette is getting all over my hands. I got it on my white little chair rug. I'm so upset. But okay, so I'm gonna go in with this orange shade. This shade right here. I'm gonna go into this shade here, and I'm gonna do it on the same palette. It's like the same palette, the same row. It's this shade right here. And again, I'm going to do the newer palette on this eye and the older palette on this eye. So I'm going to take my JH30 brush. You know, this is my like ride or die brush, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to use a different blending brush to be able to compare both sides. So I kind of didn't prepare to look for another blending brush, and I did have one, but I'm not sure. All right, so this is something similar. It's a little bit smaller, so I don't know if I should use, I'll probably use this one. All right, so I'm gonna take that shade. All right, I think it was that one. Yeah. All right, so this is the newer palette on this eye. I have not used the newer palette like at all. I bought it and I just never used it. This is going to be interesting because I have always used, not always, but I came to accustomed to using this brush for my blending, like for my base shade. And now it's going to be weird not using it for the other eye. Alright, so that's still blended out very nice. It went on nice, it went on smooth, it didn't get patchy or anything. Now remind you, my other palette is a little bit older, but I'm pretty sure it'll still do the same justice. So I'm going into that same shade in the older palette. Now from the jump, it already looks, the older palette already has, like, it already looks like it's like a darker color than the newest one. So we're gonna just do this. Okay. So the older one so far looks a lot more orange. But I'm gonna keep building it up. By the way, this one is a Sephora brush. It's a number 10, I guess. It's called Pro Crease, which is that brush. So right off the bat, this one is a lot more orange than this one. I don't know how to explain that, but you guys can see for sure that it's a different shade. Go back into that color and fan it out. Yeah, so this one looks more of a red tone and this one looks more of an orange tone. So I think they're completely different so far, and I'm not really liking that because I was a really big fan of this 3502 palette. Like, you don't understand. I used this palette all the time in the fall. All the time. Until I started getting new palettes, of course. But yeah, so they're two different colors. One's more of a red tone and the other one's more of an orange tone. Okay, so now the one color that I was obsessed with is this shade right here. This shade right here. I was obsessed with this color. Like this it was a beautiful color, and it's on this palette too as well, which is this palette. So I mean, which is this shade. So I'm gonna take that shade and I'm actually gonna put that. Thank goodness I have two of these colors. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean this off. Take my nifty little microfiber towel. See, it pretty much comes right off. So I'm gonna take this eyeshadow brush and I'm gonna use that color because I was obsessed. When I tell you I was obsessed with that color. I'm upset though because my black broke. That was one of the reasons why I went ahead and went and bought this one, because of my the black shade. So all right, this time I'm going, no, you know what, let me keep going with this palette. All right, so I'm gonna take my JS6 brush and I'm gonna go into that fire hydrant kind of color like this, and I'm going to take it and go right here. It's not, from what I can remember, it's not as bright as the one that is in this palette. So I'm just gonna build it up and fan it out. Alright, so I'm gonna go in again with my JH30 brush, and I'm just gonna fan it out back here. Alright, now I'm going to go into the older palette and I'm gonna use that same shade. So that's this one. Moment of Truth. You can already tell that this shade was a lot brighter than that one. It's definitely old. It's definitely an old palette. It's kind of staining more of the brush than anything else. So I think this palette is really old. I don't think I could use this palette anymore because it's not really picking up any more pigment and I'm not blending out. But it worked a little bit. I got it to blend. There's a lot of fallout, but as you can tell, this one's a lot more muted than this one. This one was very bright. When I tell you it was bright, it was bright. I'm gonna look for a picture that I did using this palette, but it was a Halloween colors. And I'm just gonna take the brush and fan it out. So yeah, there's that color. All right, so you can kind of tell that this eye is a little bit more muted than this one. I don't know if you guys can really tell though. I can. I definitely can. So I'm going to use, let me see, which color should I use first? All right, so I'm gonna go in with these two colors here for the middle and the middle and the inner corner. So it's the same one on this side, which is these two right here. So I'm gonna take the one that is more of an orange. I'm getting color all over my shirt, everything. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this black got everywhere. All right, so I'm gonna use my finger for the color that I'm looking for, and I'm gonna put this right here. All right, so I'm going into the older palette. So far it looks the same. So far it does look the same. Again, I'm gonna take this brush again and I'm just going to fan this part right here so it blends in. The same with this side. So it blends in. All right, now let's do the other side. And I think I'm gonna have to, let me see. I'm using this color right here to put right here. This is that? I'm trying to stay in view, but it's so hard. Okay, so I have to try and find a nice brush that I have that is probably like a double, because it matters, because really just testing out the colors. Alright, so I'm just gonna, like, this is kind of somewhat good, but I'm gonna use this one for this one and this one for this one. Alright, so I'm gonna take that same inner corner color that I was taking, and I'm just gonna apply it right here. Try to blend it together with that one shade. Take this brush, and I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. And I'm gonna take my fingers, all right, so I am going to go and finish this look up, and I will come back with my thoughts. So I'll be right back. So this is the completed look. I don't know if there really is like a major difference, but I do know is that the second color that I used, the more of the orangey tone, like bright fire hydrant orange, which is this color, in order for you to get it to this type of pigment, you need to build it up, so that way it can get intense. So you pretty much just have to like build it up in order for it to get the intense that the first palette used to have. So that's not that bad, but overall I feel like both palettes did the same thing. They applied kind of well. Like this one applied a lot better because it's a lot newer. This one kind of like is starting to get a little patchy, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and like get rid of this. But thank goodness I have this palette, so I thank God I test them out both, because I would have been really upset if this one had no payout like this one did. So I'm kind of like glad that both palettes did the same thing. They had the same justice and everything like that. So I'm okay with it. Like, I mean, you can tell like this one's more reddish and then this one is more orange. So overall, like, unless you really point it out and like tell people, no one's gonna really notice. So if you do have the older palette, go ahead and get the new one and toss out your old one, because you're not gonna need it anymore. So yeah, this time around I actually did my full face. I went in with my CC cream and I put it all over my face, and I set it with the Dermablend, which one is this one? Banana powder. I set it with this, but then I also set my under eyes with the regular Dermablend. So I did that, and I used my Orfa highlighter, Rodeo Dry, for my cheeks. But for my brows, this one actually, these palettes have a highlight, so I went in with this. I went in with this color right here on both palettes. Of course I used the other one for this side and this one for this side. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I did. And I set my face with the I put a little bit of the MAC Prep and Prime setting, I guess. So I used this first, and then I went in with the Morphe matte setting spray. I do not like the smell of this one. I'm just letting you know. This one smells so bad. Well, at least to me. My friend says she liked it, that it smelled like cucumbers, and I don't like it. I don't like the smell of this. So I have to go back and get the original one. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I mean, I did the same thing I did to the top to the bottom. I used the same mascaras that I always use, which is the Benefit Bang mascara, and then the Too Faced Born This Way not Too Faced, Born This Way, Better Than Sex, my bad. So yeah, this completes the video. I really hope everybody enjoyed it. Please like and share this video, and if you're not already, please click the subscribe button and click the notification button down below to get all my future uploads. So I will be back very soon. Have a good rest of the week. Bye.